This program is designed to provide general information with regards to the subject matters covered. This information is given with the understanding that neither the hosts, guests, sponsors, or station are engaged in rendering any specific and personal, medical, financial, legal, counseling, professional service, or any advice. You should seek the services of competent professionals before applying or trying any suggested ideas.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, for your half-assed entertainment news with no bullshit, with our hosts, the Baroness and Bear Fiorda, only on Talk4 Media.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes. I'm the Baroness. We are on with my co-host, the nicest guy in the cage, which really doesn't work in his favor. Aren't you supposed to frighten people?
No, I like to. I wish I had more friends doing it. Why can't we both make money? I feel like that's a great way to go about it. If you're going to fight someone, why do I want the guy I don't like to make money off this?
So I should set you up to fight with Sam Alvey. He's your friend.
And we will both make money.
How will you walk away?
Worse than when I walked in. That's okay.
What happened?
I made some money.
Ben needs to be piggybacked.
Sam can do it afterwards.
Yeah, Sam will piggyback you out of the ring after he ragdolls you.
After he wins, he can piggyback me. It'll be okay.
I saw there was a great video. If you ever get a chance, jump on Bear's social media. There's this phenomenal moment where he lands this beautiful head kick on Sam.
Oh, that's old.
It is, but go back in his social media. That'll be our giveaway today. If you can find that, I'll give you a ride at Off-Road Rentals in Palm Springs, California. By the way, shout out to KMX10s. Shout out to Beyond Hair. Yeah. Shout out to, what's yours? Come on.
Oh, my one?
Yes, your one. He gets to do one.
No, I'm kidding. Embassy Suites by Hilton in Phoenix, Arizona.
And, of course, Off-Road Rentals for our giveaways. And Cobra Kai for making Bear the machine he is.
Oh, thank you.
And, of course, Dan Henderson for being Dan Henderson. If you get a chance, really one of the coolest things I've ever seen is at Dan Henderson's gym in Temecula, California. This isn't an ad. This is me personally speaking. There is a brewery and restaurant, and you can actually go up there and watch the cage fighters train. Yes. It is one of the coolest experiences. If you can do that, go do it. It is really, really cool.
Yeah, we recently had a guy actually walk in to get a drink at the bar and ultimately decided to just buy a membership and started working out in the gym instead. So it changes.
So he came
your
in
life,
for a
maybe,
cheeseburger. He came in for a cheeseburger. I just like watching y'all in the booty shorts. So there is, of course, a fight tomorrow in Commerce, California. So I forgot this. I forgot the state. I'm like looking at my assistant in Commerce, California.
We'll be out there. It's for Spar Star at the Commerce Casino. They always put on really good events, fun events, and it's a great environment. Not an
ad.
4 p.m. It's not a plug. We're just going. It's going to be fun.
Yep. We're going to be meeting Bear's new manager there. We're going to be meeting the cast of one of my TV shows there. We love these cage fights. And if you ever get a chance, remember this. It is bloody. Guys learn to punch before they can block. I haven't figured that out yet.
Well, it's not that they don't learn one or the other first. It's that they only have 2 minutes, right? A lot of them only have 2 minutes and most 3 minutes. And you don't have a lot of feel out time. You just got to kind of go if you want to win. So you don't have a lot of time to focus on defense and movement. You just kind of hit them real hard.
Really?
Real fast.
You don't let people punch you?
I don't have the best record. How else do I put that? They're playing the game better than I am right now. I'm better for these 5-minute rounds. Going pro will be much nicer for me.
Now, I'm going to say this very, very carefully. If you guys get a chance, please remember this is an 18 and over show. We're going to be talking about risque subjects today, as well as Vietnamese food, apparently, before the show.
It's because our sound engineer is talking about his girl makes some fantastic.
I always call him our sound engineer. I don't know if he wants his name shared on channels. Well, so I'm really careful about that. So I'm always really careful about that.
For me today, though. He's so tired.
You have to go cover for Joe today.
So exhausted.
Don't you teach Joe's classes today?
I am teaching classes.
He's teaching for Joe Stevenson. Joe Stevenson, incredible cage fighter. If you guys get a chance, look up Joe Daddy Stevenson, one of my favorite cage fighters.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
We went yesterday to the Princess Diana auction, and Renee Plant, who I adore, we did a documentary with her on her building the Princess Diana Museum, actually acquired 30 pieces of memorabilia.
She spent over $1.5 million.
$2 million, yeah. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be very, very clear. She would have had to have paid a hell of a lot more than that. She always said to me, like, she feels like someone's looking out for her. Yeah. And I made the comment, I think she's Princess Diana's guardian angel on earth. I disagree now. There is somebody looking out for her. The guy that usually outbids her is this total SOB.
He's not new money, but he didn't earn his money. He just inherited.
That's got nothing to do with it. Your new money. I come from an old family.
But what I'm saying is that he didn't work for it.
Good people are different. My problem is he doesn't. She's trying to create a museum to share Diana's legacy.
Yes.
He and some of these other people actually buy the clothes and rent it out so people can wear Diana's clothing. But what that does is it creates a situation where the pieces are destroyed. Look what happened to Marilyn Monroe's dress with Kim Kardashian's backside. Lovely behind. She's got a beautiful, beautiful bottom. I will give her that. Unfortunately, it's a little big for Marilyn's dress. Mine would be too. No complaints. But I wouldn't try and get into Marilyn's dress. In this case, when people rent and use Princess Diana's clothing, they're paying an exorbitant amount because, of course, it belonged to the late Princess of Wales. And that happened. So I was really glad it went to Renee, who is, because this guy was trying to get there in time. There was some, emergency after emergency. His plane couldn't land, nothing dangerous.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there going, okay, there is divine intervention for her to be able to do this.
Very happy she got her stuff. By the way, who do you think will win in a cage fight? Marilyn Monroe or Princess Diana?
Princess Diana.
Really? Why?
Princess Diana's taller, more physical. She was a ballerina for years. That's like who would cage fight, like Zara Tindall or pretty much any other woman.
I don't know Zara Tindall.
Zara Tindall. She's the one that married the football player. She's the Queen's granddaughter. She's Princess Anne's daughter.
You assume I know who these people are that are not the Queen.
The late Queen.
The late Queen. You're making a lot. I know there's a king now. I know his name's Charles.
No, I'm not fist bumping you for that.
I hope you have a very big ring stone on, so I hope you do.
Actually, now I will fist bump you for that.
No, I just want to catch. There you go, the little one side.
I just want to punch you with my finger.
That's
so
okay.
Essentially, what we're looking at, I can't see what he says. I don't have glasses.
Keep the mystery alive. The man behind the scenes.
That's it.
So pay no attention to the man
behind the
man behind the curtain.
I have to tell you, half of the good jokes we tell on here that you guys will respond to us.
Oh, he just feeds
you'll get it. Yeah, it'll. And most of you listen from other platforms. Well, we'll get all of these comments all of the time from people on all these other platforms, like, who is he, or your sound engineer? Yeah. And I find it very, very funny. I do.
No, I appreciate it.
Because our best jokes come from him. We have a little section in the corner where he writes it in, except I can't see at all today.
No, he's a very big help, honestly. We appreciate that.
He's amazing.
We were talking about this idea for our show a little while ago, and I thought it was really cool. We might bring on 2 guests at one point to discuss various things.
We're discussing cage. Yeah, what is it? A cage fighter and a fashionista, or
right,
a royal watcher and a bodybuilder. So tell me what you guys think. Rather than bringing on one guest at a time from now on, we were talking about bringing on a couple, doing it as a full panel thing, and a couple people from my world, a couple people from Bear's world. It does make it a logistical nightmare, but I really like the idea.
That's what I was actually going to go for. So what do you guys think on that? What's your opinion of that? And on top of that, who would you like to see on the show too? That always helps out.
I really want the woman we met yesterday, the one in that gorgeous blue dress. We had lunch with her. She wrote the book on royalty.
Yes. Okay, I didn't know that.
She worked in for the Wall Street Journal.
Oh, wow.
And that's how she got into royal. That's how she got into royal watching. She's brilliant. So we had fun with her, but I did enjoy the Princess Diana experience. I did enjoy going there. And then, of course,
I enjoyed the food we ate after the fact.
That's because you ate a lot of food.
It was good food. It was really good. Thing called chicken Marie. I don't know what it means, but it tasted nice, and there were vegetables on it. I didn't like that the bone was still in the chicken, though.
He's on a diet right now. If you can't tell, essentially what's happening to him
I talk about
is all he's talking about is
my whole
food.
Life becomes food.
He is food. A woman at a restaurant. We actually stopped at an Applebee's of all places because he needed his third lunch. And so we stopped there, and she pulled me aside to make sure I wasn't being abused because
she wasn't hungry. She didn't eat anything. She just ordered more food for me. And so everyone's like, oh, he's eating her food too? What a fat bastard. What is wrong with this guy?
There were 2 meals and neither of them were for me. So he's got his meal in front. She brings the other and he pulls it over to himself and starts eating. And this lovely woman just wanted to make sure that I was safe. And I explained it to her. He's a cage fighter. He's hungry.
Did it rather than did not.
Of
just
course,
in case
because that is a side of it. That is line of abuse. But
Right.
it's a very different situation when you've already stopped 3 other times for food. Like, I ate the first time we stopped,
and
not
have
the
obligation,
third.
not even hungry, just fucking fine, whatever. Here's
I'd
an
like to remind
Applebee's.
everyone, every time we use bad language, we give money to the Boys and Girls Club of America, the Humane Society of America, and Free MMA. We swear because we care.
Fuck yeah. And I'm tired, so there's gonna be a lot more cursing than normal because I'm less reserved right now.
We are really, really, we've had a very long week, but the Princess Diana thing was lovely. I'm looking forward to going to Commerce tomorrow. Well,
Yeah.
of course, Sienna, who I love, is going to be there. The cast, a couple of the characters from Lauren Power's reality show is going to be there. Angelique from Nickelodeon is going to be there. She now manages and does PR.
Yeah, well, she was once on
I'm
the
trying
show.
to- yeah, I'm trying
all
to-
that I think
she-
actually
yes.
back in the 90s.
And I'm trying to pull her into business with us, but she doesn't do that yet.
She does such great work though too. She ran a company. It's funny. She ran a company for a while where all she would do is basically take people who are already in the industry but failing and make them better.
Oh, she's incredible.
That's all. And she never really did it on a big platform because she didn't really care about it. It's just something she enjoyed doing for friends or mutual colleagues.
She also
And
does
now-
product placement amazingly. That's what I
Yes.
want to work with her
And
with. Is some of the product placement she has is is embedded advertising in film and television. So I spoke with her. She's looking at on as a commercial for Bear. And that just means she'll be peddling his butt. So if you see Bear's bottom plastered across billboards and him talking in the corner because nobody will let him eat anymore, that's why.
I'm just emaciated. Is the word emaciated when you
Emaciated,
haven't eaten?
yes.
Emaciated. Yeah,
Bear,
just
you're
sitting
not emaciated. He called himself.
there. I am starving.
You're not starving.
So I also want to point out that for embedded advertisement, that'd be like if I put my phone right between us and just occasionally talked about the brand of the phone, right, and then moved on. Wouldn't that qualify?
I
You
think
just see it
everybody
right
in the
there.
world has seen an influencer and knows what embedded advertising is now. It's gotten stupid.
Sometimes it's
The
very
overconsumption,
direct.
I know.
Frankly.
The favorite is the Adstronaut.
The Adstronaut from
Adstronaut.
Ryan. Oh my god, I think his name's Ryan, not Ryan Gordon.
Just look up Ryan the Adstronaut. It's
Yeah,
great. It's the best. One
best
pulls the
way
Mickey out of
to
it.
make. It's the best way to make an ad online. If you're trying to make ads online as a company or a human, Ryan the Adstronaut, way to do it.
That all,
People will
that's
watch it
all
and actually give a
all
shit.
pornography. If you embedded advertising in pornography and you put your advertising up on like one of these free sites, that's an even better way. I'm not wrong.
I just want to see best pornography ad. You got 2 people. One is in an Eggland's egg carton, and the other one's in like a Good Farms milk container or whatever. And they're just doing what they would normally do. They don't talk about the brands. They're just wearing costumes of the brands. You got a Kellogg's Fruit Loop box. You got a Snickers
You can't
bar.
family-friendly stuff in pornography.
That's not family friendly.
I'm just saying.
It's just wearing costumes. That's
Go-
all it is. It's just wearing costumes.
That's not how it works. Now, I will say Disney has taken over the
They got little
world.
holes where the appendages need to.
Go to the corner. So Disney has taken over the world. The sale of
Oh, they just
Paramount
bought
looks like
Paramount
it's
Pictures, yeah.
no, they didn't. A
Oh, they
third-party company that belongs to Disney did. So
So they went through,
technically,
actually. Damn,
yeah, it looks like
okay.
it. That's not a damn
I thought
shout
it was
out.
a bad thing.
Nope, I thought it was
Monopoly.
for years. I'm gonna say shush. I work for them now. It's a wonderful thing, and
fantastic.
I
We
love
love it.
Disney.
Oh,
But I
thank you.
will say this: for years, I gave Brad Gray a hard time about that decision,
Mhm.
and I was wrong. And
Dude,
the
it's saved.
and the
Probably saved her.
roasted died before I could apologize. It was very selfish of him. Speaking of selfish, let's talk about selfish in bed. Not Bear specifically, but we'll talk about Alexis and Kink4Dummies. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello. One of the questions we had the last time you were on this, hence the selfish segue. What happens if your partner doesn't want to please you? So we're going to get into that, but let's start with who are you? What are you doing? And why is there a sideways Eiffel Tower behind you?
Because that's my headboard.
Excellent. Now, tell everyone who you are and what you have and what you do and why you run a forum for people that don't understand kink. Is that what it is?
So yes and no. My name is Alexis. I run Kink4Dummies. Kink4Dummies is an educational community where we discuss different factors of kink.
Excellent. I also know that you work in the film industry, and apparently my putting you on the spot made you freeze up. So
Yes.
I'm very glad that I did that. For those that don't know, this is Alexis Romero. She is my private secretary. We've worked together. She's also one of the few female managers in MMA.
Woo.
She is one of the few people, I believe you were the second youngest executive starting of all time.
Yes, you were the
Yes.
first.
Yes. Alexis is like, she beat me to it. You are one of the first people to work on embedded advertising paid for by a city into a television show.
Yep.
She also, for those that don't know, she also took her college thesis, made it profitable, put in product placement, had it aired on television.
And got everybody to work for free. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I was an intern on her show.
Good job.
Oh, she was brilliant. It was one of the most cleverly embedded things I've ever seen. So I'm telling you, it's the personality that comes. So you're a dome. Can you tell everyone what that is? That's in her off time, not for pay, but it is what makes her effective in Hollywood. I'm not kidding. Everyone's afraid of her.
So I am technically a pleasure dom, but I like to be in control, but I also like to cause a great deal of pleasure. I've been doing it for quite some time, and everything is obviously negotiated.
Between a dominatrix and a dome? I'm just going to ask.
I mainly just male and female.
A dominatrix and a dome?
They're the same thing. It's just different words.
Are you moving your camera? We're having trouble.
Yeah,
with
I'm trying to
cracking sound.
Put the volume.
I think her camera froze.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what happened.
Kind of. Oh, it's just back.
Yeah, stop touching stuff.
I had to turn up the volume. It was hard to hear you guys.
So what's
I
the
could be
difference?
louder if you wanted.
No,
Sure?
he's deaf. He does not need to be loud.
I want to point
So
out.
what's the difference between a dominatrix and a dome? I know the difference.
Dominatrix, dome. It's a domineering female. It's just different words.
Okay.
So
for example, if Bear was a dominatrix, and you were a dome, whatever. If he was a dominatrix and you were a dome,
that would be odd.
That would be the same interests.
It could be. So a dom doesn't necessarily mean that you have the same preferences. It's just usually the one that is more in control of the situation. But everything is based off of negotiation. So, and it's safe, sane, and consensual, obviously.
So for power.
So in my industry, I would be considered a dominatrix then, because I'm everyone's boss and I negotiate the salaries.
You don't negotiate with anybody. You tell them do it or fuck off.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not a negotiation.
That's not a negotiation.
I'm just saying. So I'm a film dominatrix.
That's a hostile takeover.
It's a hostile. Listen, I know you came in here because you're unhappy with the contract, but let me present you with an ultimatum.
Yeah.
Do it or leave.
That makes me film dominatrix.
Film dominatrix. No, that should be your social media.
Yes, that is, I'm a producer.
Film
so
dom.
What got you into this side of sexuality?
I think a lot of it has to do with my personality and just preferences. I like to be in control of the situation and feel like I'm the one in control, but it's also basing it off of the partners that I have. It's all negotiated on what they like, what I like, and seeing if it's something that we are compatible.
What do you do if you're not compatible?
You find somebody else. There's a ton of people in this world. And if you're not compatible, then why be in an unhappy situation where you're not getting your needs met?
Excellent choice. Bear, go away.
Money is the answer to that question.
I was going to say, go. Okay.
Send me away.
Go away. I'm into MMA. I'm not into MMA.
It doesn't have to be sports related. I think we're talking about sexuality here on the show today, quite frankly.
So, no, money is a good way, but I think that's a whole thing.
Yeah, but even then, if there's money involved, you would still have.
I think that's a crime.
Well, no. Well, yeah, in some places.
We're actually in a relationship, so it's not a crime.
Yes.
No, but you wouldn't be in a relationship if you didn't agree on certain aspects. Like, you can compromise. You don't have to 100%. At no point are you going to 100% agree with your partner's preferences.
That's
so
fair.
If, for example, you like to put things in men's bottoms and they don't want things put in their bottoms,
then
how do you
find somebody else? There's just different.
You find somebody else to put things in his bottoms?
Or you find somebody else.
that would be what we call in the industry a hard line. You have to agree to that one. Fair enough. I think it's important that everyone does have their own boundaries and lines of what they want to and don't want to do. And compromise is essential in any relationship, unless they want to put things inside you. Then you may want to trail off.
Unless that's something you're into.
It could be something you're into. I don't know.
Now,
Like fighting.
What do you think of shows like 50 Shades of Grey? What do you think of these kind of S&M shows that have come out in the last few years? What was that guy? Hello, Baby Girl. What was that? 365 days.
365 days.
Yeah, that was awful.
I can't believe you made me watch that fucking movie.
We had to talk about it on the show. It was awful.
Oh, and talk we did.
I think that if, you have people that are...
One moment. I'd like to tell everyone as I lean forward, he didn't punch me. I'm having an allergic reaction. So I have one eye swollen that's almost shut on the left side. So when this comes out later, he does hit me in his sleep, but my eye is literally swollen.
As I look at you, no one would have gauged that over the camera. You don't have to say that.
I do, because when people, especially your fans specifically, they get super entrenched and stuff. I love, and Bear's like, he gets mad when I call them his fans. He says they're his friends, but they really do pick up on stuff like that. So they'll contact me and be like, "Why do you have a swollen eye? Were you training with Bear, or what about this?"
What
or
happened?
They'll point something out, and they pick up on stuff I would never pick up on.
Okay.
I just flip through
Maybe I am
YouTube.
just making an assumption. Okay. They're very entrenched, very good friends. They care about you.
No, they care about you.
Yeah, they really
and they want to make sure that I'm
else but you.
But you.
They're like, "Hey, are you gonna talk?"
It's more you are one of the few people I know that have made genuine friends with the people that watch you, and I find that interesting.
You build a community. That's what it's about.
Yeah, I'm not friendly enough for that.
We know.
No one's asking you to build a community, son.
As you
That's
were
one
saying,
of those situations you build it and they will come. That's not what. That's what.
As you were saying, is. Lulu. Let's go back to the.
Let's go back to those ultimatums real quick.
So it's one of those. Come on, Bunny. Let's go back.
Great.
So for those that don't know, Alexis, when she smiles, she does a bunny nose. You can watch it. I ask you to go back and watch the footage. Now she's going to be super self-conscious about the rest of the show.
Now moving back to the films, I think that some of them can be beneficial, but I think that BDSM and the kink community in general has been so negatively displayed in all of these films that
it's because so many of the people are ugly at the meetings. I watch some of the meetings online.
That's not wise.
I would not sleep with those people. When you have a whole bunch of really fugmo people that are like, let's tie each other and spank each other. No. Now, actually, the ones in Palm Springs, fairly attractive. I will say that. I went to one of her meetings with her. It's like a nothing sexual. It's just a group of people that get together, hang out, have lunch. It was really cool. But they were attractive.
They play card games.
And play card games. But when I look them up online, they are fugmo, Lex.
It really depends on where you're going. But
one of the women was missing many teeth.
Granny gum jobs. That's all I have to say.
I've been saying that for years. Where'd you get it from?
I probably heard it off of you.
Yeah, granny gum jobs. No teeth. Anyways, so I was going to say that Alexis invited me out to one of those things as well. And I remember sitting there and looking at all these people. Some of them are here and there. Some of them are like solid 5. Definitely 2s, just going on a general scale here. And then this lady comes in and she's not even looks. She's just overtly over the top, loud. She's getting involved in everyone's business. But what I didn't understand until the end of it was she had basically just worked her whole way around that table in that community.
Clever girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but I just thought it was like, okay, I don't know how this person with their personality type got in bed with everybody else. Eventually you think
literally
out of 25 people, they're like, one person didn't like her. Apparently everyone just
she must have something
full speed ahead. Beer flavored nipples.
That is a possibility. Or she could be the Wallace Simpsons of the world.
What's that? What is that reference?
Somebody that is good enough in bed to make a king leave the crown.
What is that? Je ne sais quoi?
The je ne sais quoi, that certain something. No, that certain something is not sexual. The certain something is what creates an it girl. The certain something is what makes someone charismatic.
She clearly had something to be able to get that far.
That is skill. That is skill you learn.
That or
no gag reflex.
Rumors go far.
Now, you've created a community online. you've created, you've got a big following. Can you give out your social media shout out, please?
Kink, KINK, the number 4, dummies. Everywhere. You can find it on down to Lemonade and Snapchat, every single platform, everywhere. Kink4Dummies. It's just an educational platform.
I've got such a bone to pick with Lemonade, by the way. You guys do great.
You want to. So you've curated this place where everyone can come and talk about kink. What is the strangest question you've gotten so far?
Oh, there's a lot. So it's actually become like where I have a lot of people that will write in and ask questions directly to me, but I will do research to try and answer on a lot of these because some
you
of
mean
them
you make
I just don't know.
ChatGPT do research, don't you?
Yes and no. I actually enjoy it.
You have to check it. She's like,
I think it has limits on what it's allowed to talk about. You know,
no. So if it is for an educational purpose, ChatGPT will let you actually, expand on what it researches. I found this out over the time because I do have ChatGPT sometimes respond because I have absolutely no idea, but I will fact check it because I also don't want to give out incorrect.
You don't want to be the guy that landed in court telling everyone, "Hey, this is where I did my research." Nope, ChatGPT just made it up.
That'd be awful.
The lawyer
that was
went to prison.
I'm huge. I'm really a huge fan of AI. I shouldn't be in the film industry, but I am. That being said, I do think the limits currently are there. I look forward to in 10 years where those limits don't exist.
In 10 years, it'll be walking, talking, and taking your job.
Oh, it can't take my job. I mean,
no.
Yeah, boxing robots, whole thing.
I think computers and AI could take over any job.
I think it can, but you have to have somebody that manages AI. The one thing with my job that AI cannot do, as funny as it sounds, is the fixes. A large portion of my job is fixing, and it's on the fly. And so AI is not something that, as changeable as it doesn't deal well with new problems. And my whole job is new problems. So that puts me in a different category. Now, I do feed AI, which means I give it my responses. I teach it how to do stuff. You do too. If you use it, you're teaching it.
Everyone.
So what's eventually going to happen is I'm actually removing people like my producers. I'm removing people, a lot of that through AI and ChatGPT and through all of these AI platforms. People that are not replaceable are the brick and mortar people like Alexis that does all the phone calling, setting up the meetings, the organization. Now, eventually you will be able to have digital assistants for sure.
Automated, yeah.
It will be there. But what won't be there is the ability, the interaction levels that you need to be able to have. One of Alexis's largest skills, as both, I'm sure, a dominatrix, I'm guessing, and in the film industry, is her ability to connect with people. Part of the reason I've worked with her for so long is I do not have those people skills. And Alexis's greatest skill is her ability to connect with people.
I will say this, and actually this pertains probably to your industry too when we talk about it. There are really, really advanced sex dolls that they integrate AI into, and it can, to a degree, have a more human interaction with you. And as that gets better, that kind of technology may get put into automated systems where they can have a real on-the-fly conversation with you and react.
It's not about the on-the-fly conversation. What it's about is human connection. So one of the greatest scripts I ever read that was never allowed to make, and I still bitch about not being able to make this. And I've pitched it many times, and as soon as people want it and found out it was written in Korea for a school, it was written by Dev Ross. She was the first female staff writer at Disney. She wrote Land Before Time, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin. She's one of the most successful, wonderful people I've ever met in my life. Now, I will say with her, she wrote a screenplay, and I never read the whole thing. I read 5 pages, and I can tell you whether it's good or bad. I read this entire script, and the entire basis of it was everything becoming automated, everything becoming kind of these floating brain sort of things where human bodies no longer existed. The one thing you could not replace was human touch and human interaction. The feeling. We are social creatures. It's the reason it's illegal to keep a guinea pig by itself in places like Norway. You cannot keep a guinea pig alone because they're social creatures. Alexis's skill set cannot be lived without because it is social, and that is necessary for humans and survival for everything else. Now, these sex dolls may put breeding and procreation out the window, but that human connection is necessary. I'm still angry. So you guys know the reason I've had trouble selling this script, and I have very little trouble selling March, is because it was done for a school in Korea and they do very loosey-goosey forms. The concern is that they will, even though it was so many years ago, because it was written while she was under contract for them, but not written for them, that becomes the argument.
Just step in and say, this is our
property.
Yeah,
that's concern, but it is probably the best script I've ever read in my entire life. It is the perfect sci-fi format. Lex, would you ask Dev if I could pitch it as a TV series?
Yes, I'll reach out.
Thank you.
I just want to shout out our sound engineer's most recent comment. AI girlfriend is such a bad idea. I already don't win arguments with my current girlfriend. Imagine an AI one.
It's
one that is tapped into the internet and can research anything immediately.
Well, that's what stopped all bar arguments. Once upon a time, we'd all sit in bars and pick up, you meet somebody there and you argue with your friends about trivia. Now you can just Google the trivia and you got Tinder.
No, but now we debate, is the world flat? Are there aliens? And then you show them research and
not
it's like, nope,
a debate.
you're wrong.
Okay.
You're wrong. The world's flat.
I'm going to say,
off of it.
I'm going to say this as clearly as I can. I bless my dad. He has now moved into, yep, the world's flat. Every time someone says it, he's even espousing it himself. I'm like, why do you believe the world's flat? He's like, I don't, but if everyone else is going to say it, I'll just go with it.
Just join in.
Said, I'm not arguing with idiots. Why?
But yeah,
why
your dad would have sailed right off of the face of the planet.
I think having sailed around the globe, yes, it is a thing.
There's actually a central gravitational pull to where after you go over the edge, you just now start with it.
I think what it is, what really gets me at when we do that, I do not believe in personal truth. I believe there is no such thing as personal truth. That is my personal truth.
There is,
and the reason I can have that as a personal truth. There you go.
Yeah,
it's like
just
your
like
little. It's like your little anal thing. But I will say there is only objective truth. Everything else, I don't have a personal truth. Objective truth is the only reality, and the closest thing we have to objective truth is science and mathematics. And unfortunately, I'm not a great scientist and I'm not a great mathematician, but I do believe that the moment you trade personal truth, you lead into fascism. Though I do like America is kind of leaning towards fascism these days. I love the clothes that come out of fascist regimes. Italy in the 1920s through 40s, gorgeous fashion. I'm enjoying the fashion in America now. Thank you, America, for heading towards fascism. I may need to move, but I like the fashion.
I think that was a bit for anyone listening. I don't think you appreciate this country going towards fascism, right?
I'm going to put it this way, and for anyone that doesn't know, media is much like the intercourse that Alexis likes, where you pretend it's not consensual, but it is. And the reason I say this, the conservative media outlets are owned by Disney.
Yep.
The liberal media outlets are owned by Disney.
Yep.
And for profit, they pit the sides against each other so that they attack each other and pay. And they get you to pay more that way. They, what they call liberal propaganda in Disney films intentionally. So conservatives ride against it and liberal people support it by taking their children. It is an intentional push. They put out their own things like VeggieTales, also Disney, by the way, now owns that. Done the same reason. People that are liberal pull their kids away from it, but the conservatives push. Really, there is a lot of money to be made in war, and what they've done is created a country of war within itself. Now everyone's, oh yes, all hail Mighty Mouse. I work for you now, and I love you.
Palpatine from the Star Wars movies. He was playing both the Separatists and the Republic. It's crazy.
That's the most, ridiculous.
Hang on. I agree, but Star Wars is also owned by Disney.
It is also now owned by Disney.
Star Wars is also now owned by Disney. I'd like to point that out. It belongs to Disney.
You want to know something that's not nerd but genuine? When you look at George Lucas signing the paper, they did the live, him signing it away. His just empty husk of a face. It was so gaunt and sad.
No, he did look sad.
Sold away his dream.
Also, the biggest purveyor of pornography in the world.
They own everything.
So if you are watching pornography, you're watching Disney. If you are a liberal, you're watching Disney. If you are a conservative, you are watching Disney. If you like Star Wars and you're a dork, you are watching
Fox News,
which belongs to
Disney.
That's it. It's all the same company and it's genius. And I said that to my aunt staying with us last night. And I said to my aunt, and it was that moment she said, please tell me you're joking. I said, no, it's the same company.
Same people.
It's selling you the same thing from two different ends. So you spend more money. It's like Alexis's kink thing, right? You just pretend that one of you is struggling.
And do you... Yes,
That's
no.
not how that works.
I thought you were gonna say something. My bad.
I'm sorry. Is that not a kink thing where you pretend like somebody's struggling and the other person's going for it, but it's secretly consensual? I have seen CNN and Fox News make anchors all hanging out together.
So it's called consensual non-consent.
So Disney is a huge purveyor of consensual non-consent in the figurative sense, with the being conservative and liberal, and the literal sense by owning pornography. See? And now we roll back into how do I take Disney's system and make it work on people?
You create an MLM.
I tried. You wouldn't let me.
Yeah, because it's ridiculous. We're not creating.
I wanted to create a non-profit MLM called Get Stupt. And all we do is hear me out. All the money goes to charity, and all you get are things that don't work. So your first one for Get Stupt, your welcome package when you buy it, gives you a condom, but there's a staple through the middle of the condom to put it to the paper. You get one sock. And as you build this useless crap, the money goes to charity, and you've got Stupt. But it has to be an MLM, and you have to bring on people. That is the whole point, because like any MLM, you will get Stupt.
What does Stupt mean?
To get screwed.
I just wanted to hear the exact translation real quick.
Really, that is the exact translation. She's right.
Yeah, I had a question.
Hence, it starts with a condom. Now, that is the only MLM she will let me do. Other than that, I have wanted to start a few MLMs, but apparently it's inappropriate. It's unhuman. It's
at least one has like.
It's not nice.
You don't want to go to court.
I wouldn't need to go to court.
You would need to go to court.
No,
one of them at least has a humanitarian aspect to it.
What is it? No, what is it? It's inappropriate for the peerage. You're not allowed to have an MLM. You're supposed to help people. And so I said, fine, I'll take an MLM that helps people. I'm going to start an MLM called Get Stupt.
Yeah.
And all the money goes to charity. We do.
Oh, Alexis, I have a question for you.
And I'm going to first spread it on your
doing
kinks.
this for a long time, both in the industry and running your page. I've seen it go from just no followers, no viewers every day to hundreds of thousands and millions of views every week, which honestly, good for you. But out of all those people, you had to have heard some weird, shitty kinks out there. And I want to know what your top 5 are. And I'm going to give you 3 seconds on the clock now. No, I'm kidding. But I do want to know, what are some of the weirdest kinks people brought to your attention?
Well, you always have like the bodily fluids and everything like that people are into. That's not something
I knew a cop that got covered in bodily fluids. The guy pooped on him when he arrested him. He wasn't happy. No, he didn't. He was angry. He walked into the station and said, "I'm going home." No one asked.
Yeah, it has to be consensual.
So that was poopy assault.
Technically speaking, sometimes they do allow you to put the handcuffs on.
Situation.
That's then the shitty situation.
Yes. Laid handcuffs on. Well, I will say, and I'm going to say this. I know a lot of people, a lot of women especially, that watch sports specifically because they like to see the guys kind of tear at each other and be half naked. I think you look great in your booty shorts when you're wrestling another man.
Thank you.
And so do a bunch of guys I know here in Palm Springs. So it really just depends on
that's perfect.
Yes, Bear Gur.
So
what sounds like burger. I could use one right now.
I'm going to ask you. One of the most controversial things going around right now is they're talking about corn being a source for kitty diddlers.
I was going to say public education, but okay.
But they're talking about that is the cause of it in modern age, blah, blah, blah. And they're looking at it now as something that, yes, it causes that. Yes, it causes long-term problems, but that's where people are learning about intercourse from.
Pretty much.
I think that a lot of people are learning about intercourse from pornography specifically, but I think the issue, it's far more than just what people are watching.
Well,
I think
pornography, if it's shot entirely, if you're looking at standard porn, it's shot from the male gaze, and there's nothing enjoyable about that with women. Like, guys want to have the biggest thingamabobbies. I don't know what words I'm allowed to say on TikTok, so I'm working with this. So they want the biggest penis they can have, but there's a cervix. There's only so far it can go. I don't know why, and it is not fun to have your cervix banged on.
Ding dong.
So
it
why
makes sound effects?
So why do you think, with all of all of this coming from the male gaze? I mean, you have men now saying the clitoris doesn't exist. You have men saying that women cannot find pleasure in sex. That women.
I
Don't
think that
enjoy
comes
sex.
from the red pill aspects, not necessarily from
The
like, you
severely
have-
undereducated.
Well, they're
Yeah.
the biggest users of pornography now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, they also have the most time on their hands. Like, you have people that are highly educated that are constantly doing and trying to better themselves through education and working and building relationships. The undereducated and the people that are more poverty struck are the ones that are having more time. They go to their jobs part time or whatever, and then afterwards they go home and they have nothing else to do because they're not out building relationships. They're not out doing, the things to better themselves.
Do you see a lot of red pillars in your community, or just people that are interested in kink? What do you see?
I think I've been very fortunate with the community that everybody is trying to learn, or they're asking questions, or they're trying to give input to kind of better the community. And so that's something I greatly admire. And I think that's the reason why a lot of our videos have a ton of views on it. It's because people will give their input of how this information is incorrect, or this is how you can expand on this. And that's one of the things that I really feel pushes the community further.
Do you think an open dialogue, now I know an open dialogue about sex is something I'm a huge proponent of. For those that don't know, I've fostered, I've adopted, I've dealt with children that have been physically abused, sexually abused, emotionally abused, and having an open dialogue, one about abuse, two about sex, and separating those has been really, really important. But in the adult film world, those are being pushed together. There's a lot of abusive behaviors being pushed into pornography. You have way too much eyeliner on. So for those who don't know, my daughter is off to the right. She's come in and she's got this whole gothy look happening, but she's an incredibly pale young lady. so she looks right now. If you ever saw The Craft, like we have a 90s witch vibe going on. So we're going to learn to blend after this. Excellent.
I think that yes, it can be partly due to, trying to merge sex and violence, because obviously those two things sell quite well.
Well, you have to
and you're going to
increase the
expand on that.
dopamine. Yeah, you have to increase the dopamine hit each time. If what happens is first you watch people having normal intercourse, then that doesn't work after viewing it so many times. You need that increase in dopamine. That's why they said it's led to people being interested in children, people being interested in more extreme stuff.
Mm-hmm. You'll never find normal corn though. Like normal intercourse on any adult website, I think it's just unheard of.
Well, that's because you can literally find anything in pornography. Like what is it? Rule, I think it was like some ridiculous
37.
number.
Yeah, rule 37 or 27.
You can, if you can think of it, it exists online.
Something I would say is they do have adult entertainment for women, and it's more directed at mutual pleasure. A great film for those that don't know is Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Scarlett Johansson in a film called Don John. This is not a pitch. Yeah. One of the things they discuss in that is pornography. And he is with, I'm blanking on her name. She's one of my favorite actresses, redhead. It's killing me. So he leaves
Scarlett Johansson.
No, Scarlett Johansson's character. No, he leaves Scarlett Johansson's. Would you look up the Don John cast, please? He leaves Scarlett Johansson's character for this older woman who had lost her family, and she had approached him because she saw him watching this adult film, and she said, that's not real. That's not how that works. And she gave him some videos in this film that were specifically about mutual pleasure. Julianne Moore. Thank you very, very much, Julianne Moore.
He left Scarlett Johansson for Julianne Moore?
Yes, she's gorgeous too, but in the film, yes.
Oh.
And so watch the film. It's an excellent film. She has been raised by Disney. She believes the Disney princess thing, men should do anything for women. He's been raised by pornography. And you can see the damage on both of these ideas within somebody. It is excellent. It is one of the most accurate films. Shout out to our sound engineer. Thank you so much, Julianne Moore.
He's on top of it.
He is. He's on top of everything. I adore him. So essentially, and that's it. And if you guys ever want to show, come on over here. Seriously, these are the people that can handle everything. I love them.
Yeah, seriously.
Julianne Moore is incredible actress. But the way they handled this is she comes over to him after watching this and hands him this mutual pleasure film, because all it is what you saw in films like 365. It's entirely for male pleasure. It's from the male gaze.
Right.
One of the things Bear has said is it was very destructive in his own life.
Oh, yeah. No, you watching pornography at 9 years old, they kind of screwed you up for a good long while. Got to do some good deep searching in yourself to figure that one out.
I think one of the things that you'll find a lot with women is they tend to read more pornography than watching it. So therefore you have
statistically correct. I don't know why you know that.
A lot of research, but
she's like, I run a whole website. Come on, get it together.
But the reason why you still have women at that point, their imagination is what is constantly engaging, because you read something, but you have to imagine it for it to be
more cerebral than visual.
Yeah, it's stimulating, but in a different way than, men are very visual creatures, so they're watching everything.
Now, that being said, I will say we have one of the most popular shows we have coming up. Alexis is working on it as well. Is called Receiver of Many. That's based on a Bodice Ripper by Rachel Alexander. We're having that turned into a television show. It actually outstripped Outlander in the online polls. It's a very, very popular book series, and it is straight. Yeah. I'm just saying. So in your case, do you think pornography is dangerous? Do you think it is positive? What do you think about it coming from the perspective of kink? If you think films like 50 Shades of Grey and 365 are dangerous, what do you think about?
It can be. But I think, there can be educational aspects that are put into pornography for it not to be so damaging. I think that, just like you could do product placement and do a condom ad or something like that, you can add educational aspects to pornography so that it wouldn't be so damaging.
Do you think it should be regulated?
I think that, well, obviously they're trying to regulate things by saying that you can't be under 18 before you go on it.
I certainly hope so.
No kidding.
Shout out to Tracy Lords, whose parents pushed her into it when she was under 18, and the films had to be pulled.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Just fuck themselves is more like it. Not shout out
no, no, shout out to Tracy Lords. She survived it, made a film career, and is thriving.
No, that's different.
Wonderful, wonderful woman.
I think there definitely should be more regulation on it, but I'm not sure how you would go about that. I think the only way that it could be less damaging is if you did figure out a way to incorporate some type of educational aspects into it, even if it's subliminal. Just having that there, I think, would definitely help.
I think we regulate smoking, we regulate alcohol, we regulate things that are damaging. I think the
401ks.
401k, yeah.
Give them 401ks. Government will regulate.
I really agree, and that's part of the reason I think that adult film actors should be allowed in the Screen Actors Guild and the Producers Guild. They are one of the largest parts of the entertainment industry, and I think they belong in our union.
They'll be better protected that way,
or at least have their own union.
I think they should be in ours, and the reason I agree with you, or at least have it tied to ours, because what you guys will see, and I know it's not something anyone knows, you will see the full film crew from Supergirl will go on the weekends and work on an adult film set. It's the same people working union and non-union jobs there. And by making it non-union, and this is from people within the industry, you have things like Cetaphil face wash is used to make semen for adult films. And and they do it because it's safer for the skin. But the more protection there is, the better. If you right now can do it yourself, so many women are harmed. So many people are harmed in this industry, not just the viewers, but the people in the industry. If you've got the same people working in the film industry and the adult film industry, I think it should be regulated the same way. Yeah. Unless my new mouse overlord says it shouldn't.
Everything is driven by money, though. So is it financially worth it for someone to do that?
I think that we have OnlyFans now, so people can go and
themselves.
Yep, they can make it themselves, and that's their business then, and they become independent filmmakers, the same as you can go make your film. But I think any studio making a film needs to regulate and protect their actors, because some of these people are trafficked, some of these people aren't. And I took what should have been a lighthearted show and made it absolutely terrible.
Awesome.
What did I miss?
Just to give them the 401k.
I like that. Give them the 401k.
The government will regulate.
Yeah, the government will regulate if we involve money. I like that. Now, I'm going to ask you this. What do you think the future of sexual intimacy is going to be? People have gotten far more into kink. People are having sex later in life. The average age that people lost their virginity 10 years ago was, between 13 and 16. Now it's between 16 and 20. It's getting older. Men are having less sex than they ever have. Our generation, millennials, have less sex than their parents, which were boomers. Gen X has more sex than Gen Z.
What boomers are inside of the nursing homes and still having sex.
Really? Yeah. Really? What you have is,
stories.
It's amazing. They won't fund education for things like Alzheimer's or science for Alzheimer's, but Viagra is covered by insurance. So are breast implants. So all of a sudden
there's more STDs
perky boobs and an erection. Well, then you have people with perky boobs and an erection and no idea what to do with them.
Yeah. Well, you also have the highest STD transmit inside of the nursing homes.
Very
I think that there was that film with Arnold Schwarzenegger, wasn't it, where everything became visual, like sex was just you put on a pair of goggles.
That was Sylvester Stallone, and you're talking about Demolition Man.
Yes,
where it was
literally our future, we're moving towards it.
But that's it, and children are made in laboratories. I really do think it was, for those, there's a woman named Felicity Artemis. She has a great TED Talk. Watch it if you can. One of the things she talks about is when you show a dystopian future, you create that dystopian future because that gives ideas. People follow those ideas. You need to show a better future if you want a better future. Also, by the way, said by Dr. King. I know we're at the end of the show. I'm going to tell this story. We met Nichelle years and years and years and years ago. She was on Star Trek, and she said, and behind the scenes, we were talking at a con, and one of the stories she told us is why she hates Dr. King. And I'm sitting there going, okay, I think it's a crime to say that, but whatever. And she said she was on Star Trek and wanted to leave, hated the show. She thought Shatner was an overblown mess and didn't want to be on the show anymore. And Dr. King wrote her a letter and said, you're showing a future where black and white men and women work together. You have no idea what you're creating here. Please don't leave the show. And she said, what do you do? The men run an entire thing. All I have to do is stay on a TV show I'm being paid for. And she said, it was awful. I had to stay. I still resent him for it. But she's in the end it was good for the future. You paint the future you want. And if all we're watching is adult films now where there's less consent, rough sex, the clitoris doesn't exist, this is what happens.
It never did.
Gotcha. Please make sure you are following us at TuneIn BTS. Please follow Kink4Dummies. And thank you very much for joining us this week. Thank you to Alexis of Kink4Dummies. And shout out to my co-host, the baddest bear in the cage, Bear Fiorda.
Thank you.
This was Behind the Scenes. We'll see you next week. Good night.
This has been Behind the Scenes with the Baroness and Bear Fiorda. Only on Talk4 Media.